When you try to quit gaming, nobody's gonna care. Your friends will ignore you, they'll write you off as crazy or stupid. And when you eventually do quit for good and you try to talk to them about it, they're still not gonna care. Nobody's gonna care. When you try to make big changes in your life, people are wired to either be completely indifferent to you trying to change or to actually be against you changing, even if it's for the better, because that's just how people are wired. People are almost designed psychologically to be against change, to resist change, especially in the people around them, even if they're trying to change for good. And trying to quit gaming around people who are trying to drag you down, who have this crabs in a bucket mindset, as it were, is not an easy task. And that's why this video is entitled How to Deal with Friends Who Don't Understand Why You Quit. That's why that might not be the exact title of this video, but it'll be something like that. And that's also the topic of this video. So I remember a couple years ago, back in 2023, 2024, I was trying to distance myself from these friends that I made at school because they were all gamers and I wasn't anymore. I had tried and tried and tried and then successfully quit my gaming addiction. And I was really proud of myself for that. And I resisted the urge to talk to these other guys about it because I knew that they would think of me as like a weird person because I did that. And I stopped hanging around them, really. I stopped hanging around these different people whose the only really interesting thing they had going on in their lives was just gaming, which used to be me. And they reminded me of my past self. They reminded me of this younger, weaker, less intelligent version of myself. It sounds like I'm being cruel to myself and them, but that's really just the reality here. You can't expect to take other people along with you if you're getting better. If you're actively improving yourself, you're doing good habits every day. You're trying to remove your flaws, remove your bad habits. You're trying to take better care of yourself. If you're doing all of those things and other people around you aren't, you can't expect to take them with you, especially if you've been doing this longer than they have. So basically all I had to do in order to improve my social situation with my friends after I quit video games was to just grow a pair of balls. That's really all I had to do. You might want to write that down. All you have to do is just grow a pair of balls in order to get a better social situation after you quit gaming. And I say this because most people really aren't worth being around if you're actively trying to improve yourself. If you are in a situation like I was, and like I still am kind of, you're a young man, you're in your late teens maybe you're in your early 20s, and you're trying to make yourself better, you're on self-improvement, then you need every advantage that you can get. We need every advantage that we can get. I needed every advantage that I could get when I was trying to quit video games and when I successfully did and I was trying to improve my social situation. We need every advantage that we can get. And people can offer a very steep advantage towards your goals. They can help you achieve them. They can help you become a better person. They can help you become a better thinker, a more moral person. Any of those positive attributes, they can either magnify those or they can magnify your bad habits, right? They can magnify how much of a wrathful or angry person you are. They can magnify how much alcohol you drink. They can magnify how much drugs you take. They can do all that kind of stuff. Sorry, I'm a bit sick today. But yeah, depending on what crowd you hang around, they will largely determine your mental space and your behavior the more time you spend around them. Now, it is good to spend time around people a lot. I think maybe as humans, we're designed to spend maybe like 80% of our day in like an extroverted social setting. And that's the case, because that's what works for me and seems to work for other people around me, I think that you have to surround yourself with the highest quality people that you can find, right? Now, if you are in a situation like mine, you're probably either going to school or work, and your social circle is really either limited to your friends in school or your friends in work. I don't know if you have many friends who are coworkers. I don't know if that's a thing, but you're limited to people who you probably knew from school, or who you still know from school, right? And you might see them on the weekends, you might see them on holidays if you are working a full-time job. But that's really just who your social circle is limited to. It's limited to who you grew up with in your hometown. It's limited to the people that you saw at school, the people that you went to extracurricular stuff, or that you went to church with. All this different stuff. It's limited to a very specific location. And trying to change that and make it go like electronically is also very hard, because I don't really think that long distance relationships can actually work. So it's become obvious to me that in this part of your life where you're trying to quit video games and you're kind of alone in the world, in terms of you're not good enough, or you don't have enough mobility to hang out with people who are better than you, who are making more money than you, who that's a very shallow metric, making more money than you, but maybe who are smarter than you, who have more resources than you, who are more sociable than you are. Those people are unaccessible because you don't have a lot of mobility yet. But you also can't hang around with these people who are worse than you, right? These gamers, these crabs who tried to pull you down and told you that you couldn't quit video games, and told you that you can't do it, and you're trying to do it, and you're trying to get over to this side of the fence. It's kind of unachievable to hang out with both of those crowds, right? The people who are worse than you and the people who are better than you. So you have to become quite comfortable with being by yourself, with being alone in this period of your life. I'm still on this road. I'm still in this period of life where I'm quite lonely, because I can't really relate to other people around me. I have different goals. I have different aspirations, stuff like that. And learning to have faith in your vision, and learning to have faith in yourself, and doing the work that's required to reach your goals every day. So in this case, not playing video games every day, and keeping promises to yourself when you're trying to quit. Those are huge motivations, and plus they'll make you more comfortable around yourself when you stick to these restrictions that you set on your gaming time, or when you go another day and another day and another day without playing video games and doing other stuff instead that you actually find fulfilling. Then you start to like yourself more when you realize that, wow, I've basically annihilated my gaming addiction up to this point. Then you like yourself. You appreciate yourself for what you've done. And that makes being alone with yourself and just being alone with your thoughts a lot more enjoyable, right? By the way, if you're interested in getting my extra help with quitting gaming forever, you can check out my course. The link to it is in the description. It's about 2.5 hours of content curated by me. It's all of my all of my advice, all of my tactics I use to get myself out of a crippling gaming addiction. And I promise that it will help you within 2 weeks of watching it. So go ahead and check that out if you're interested. Because most people, if you look at like their posture, or how they talk about themselves, or how they carry themselves when they're taking like a test or something in school, they have like really crappy posture, or they always look kind of pissed off at themselves. And I still do this. But most people don't like being around themselves because they don't treat themselves well. They don't treat themselves like someone worth taking care of, right? Like one piece of advice that I've heard that really works is treat yourself like you are someone you are responsible of taking care of, right? You treat yourself like you're your dog almost, right? Because studies show that people who are responsible for like giving their pet a medication every day are more likely to fill out the prescription, get the medicine, give the dog the medicine every single day until the subscription runs out than they are to do the same thing with themselves. So people take better care of other things than they do of themselves, right? We are self-destructive as humans. And if you try and revert that self-destructive nature that you have, if you stop trying to like subconsciously almost sabotage yourself, then you start to appreciate yourself a lot more. You've kind of unlocked like a new level of maturity. So yeah, all that goes to say is that you have to be okay with being alone. And you really got to stop listening to your gamer friends if you're even around them anymore. Because my suggestion would be to just door slam them. Just say, hey, I've stopped playing video games. I don't really see the point of hanging around with you guys anymore if I am done playing video games. And maybe they'll come up with some bullshit excuse like, oh, but like, what are you going to do instead? What are you going to do without us? And then you'll just find a way. You're a different person now. You're going to find your way. You don't need these people anymore. It's time to change for the better. And you don't have to tell that to them, but just respectfully, quietly leave. And yeah, 99% of people are really just not worth, or just totally stupid to take advice from because they're uninformed and really don't understand or care about you at all. Most people don't know who you are at all. They don't know where you come from. They don't know what kind of personality you have. They don't know what your goals and your aspirations and your dreams are. They don't know what your preferences are. They don't know anything about you. And they can't really like deduce anything about you either. Or just like find it out from observing you, because most people just don't care. And probably for a good reason, because there's like 8 billion people on Earth. There's like 300 people that you're exposed to every day. If you paid attention to every single person when you went to school today, if you paid attention to every single person at your workspace and tried to figure them out at like the deepest level, it would be exhausting. It would take up all your time. It probably wouldn't even be achievable then. And that's why you shouldn't take advice from these people. And even from your friends as well. Unless you've shared your deepest thoughts and desires with your friends, they don't really know you at all. And even if you have, that's just something that they have to take your word for. They can't truly really know who you are. Like they can't crawl into your skin and into your head and really become you with all your quirks and traits and all this different stuff. So what's going to work for you is going to not work for other people. And add that on top of just these statistics that 80%, 90%, 99% of people are just sheep. They just do what they're told. They're just uninformed. They don't know why video games are bad for you. They don't know why junk food's bad for you. They don't know anything about health. They just do what the doctors tell them. They don't really know anything about like geopolitics or how to run a country. They just do what the government tells them. They just do what they were raised to do and taught to do. But people just stick to the same ideas and the same dogma for their entire life. They're not good people to hang around with. You should constantly be, in an ideal world, everyone would be new people. They would be like regenerating themselves every 3 to 6 months in terms of their personality, their ideas, their attitudes, their characteristics, how they talk, even how they look. All this different kind of stuff, because change is a sign of maturity. Changing who you are as a person is a good and healthy sign, because it's a likely sign that you're improving at your deepest level. I'm not saying changing people is always good. People can change for the worst, totally. But I don't think you're ever going to change for the worst if you try quitting video games. Unless you're an absolute pussy, you're not going to believe that you've changed for the worse when you actually quit video games, when you actually get to where you want to go, when you actually conquer this mountain that is a gaming addiction. So yeah, if there's one thing that you get from this video, it's just stop listening to people. Start listening to either people who know what they're talking about, people who are experts, not even experts, but people who are just experienced in their field, for example. Right? So let's say, just as an example, you're trying to learn a new language. Who are you going to take advice from? You're gonna take advice from your friend who has a 300-day streak on Duolingo, or are you going to listen to a polyglot who speaks 7 different languages fluently, like Mandarin, Russian, Arabic, all those hard languages? Who are you going to listen to in that situation? You're going to listen to the person who speaks 5 different languages. You're going to listen to the polyglot because they obviously know how to learn. They obviously know how to learn vocabulary and grammar and sentence structure and all this different stuff, like down to a T, because they're super efficient with it, because they've learned 5-7 different languages throughout their entire life, and they're fluent in it too. They have so much wisdom and experience in this field that they can share with you. So listen to the people who know what they're talking about. Listen to the people who have experience, who talk with confidence, who carry themselves in a way that you aspire to. That's a good piece of advice. You should only listen to people, especially when you're trying to quit bad habits. You should only listen to people who you want to be like, because honestly, that's like the only metric, I guess, in our society of trying to figure out who's the right person to listen to. It's just you should always find the type of person that you want to be like and follow their advice and listen to them. That seems to be the optimal strategy, at least from what I know right now and from what I did, because I didn't listen to my gamer friends. If I listened to my gamer friends up till now, I would be asleep. It's about 6 a.m. right now. If I listened to my gamer friends and I kept playing games with them, and I kept doing this and that other bad habit that I did along with gaming, I'd probably be asleep right now. I'd have chip bags, junk food bags on the floor. My bed would be all messed up. My room would be a disaster. I'd probably have like dirty clothes all over the floor. My greasy PC would be in the one end. It would be in the one dark corner of the room, still glowing with RGB lights. My TV would still be on. I'd be passed out. I probably wouldn't get up until like seconds before the bus came, because I have to go to school today. Yeah, I'd probably just be like a total wreck. I'd probably just be like a gremlin still, if I had only listened to my gamer friends, if I'd only listened to these people who are complete morons, to be honest. I'm not saying that people who play video games and who have nothing going on in their lives other than just gaming and social media and the new memes coming out on TikTok or whatever. I'm not saying these people don't have any value. I'm just saying, like, they're completely useless to me and you, to people like us who want to actually improve ourselves, to people like us who actually want to get better. It's not worth listening to them. I find that I never make any progress whenever I listen to someone who I don't respect, regardless of what situation they're in. If I don't respect them at like my deepest level, if they don't align with my values, then I'm not going to make any progress at all. And I recommend you do the same. Don't listen to people who you don't look up to, who you don't respect, and whose values you don't respect at all. So changing as a person, as the last point for this video, is likely a sign of improvement at your deepest level, especially when you're a younger person. You want to be changing rapidly. Like I said, every 3 to 6 months, you should have like these new paradigm breaking, almost breakthroughs that affect every single area of your life. Maybe you learn like a new system to prioritize what tasks, what goals you have in life. Maybe you realize that you have a real talent for this or that thing. Maybe you learn how to care less about social situations, and you learn how to actually embody that Chad kind of mindset, that Chad kind of characteristic that young men are always talking about today. Yeah. So that's pretty much it. You just gotta be constantly improving. And I find that I'm happiest when I'm doing all the habits I need to do every single day, but I'm also learning new stuff that challenges my perspective, that challenges me to be a better person, to challenge my values and what I believe to be true. And journaling can help with this. Meditation can help with this. Reading nonfiction and fiction books can help with this. Yeah, it's just a journey of self-exploration, and once you stop caring about what other people think, it is 100 times easier. So that's pretty much it for this video. If you enjoyed, please like, subscribe, share. Add any questions or comments in the comments. And yeah, that's about it. See you in the next video.